Sorta Ridiculous is sponsored in part by Drunken Cobra. Drunken Cobra is a diverse, inclusive neighborhood pub in East Tosa. It offers year-round weekly events like karaoke, music performances, and open mic comedy. Drunken Cobra is located at 6818 West North Avenue. Drunken Cobra, obey the snake. Because I forgot my.
I was about to ask, where's the puppet? Where's your puppet?
All right, folks. So this is another episode of Sorta Ridiculous. Smash the button. Smash the button. Cha cha, real smooth. Wait, I was supposed to do.
Wait.
Two times now, y'all. Cha cha, real smooth.
You're giddy. This is so sweet to see.
Is he giddy or is he punch drunk? I can't tell.
Man, I am. Okay. You guys need to. I'm gonna get to why I'm very excited, but I am Darren.
Hi, Darren.
And with me, as always, are my co-hosts Billy Ray.
Happy Thursday, River West.
And Misha.
Hi, everybody.
All right, now with us, we have a very special guest. I'm very excited to have her here with us today. So, with us today, we have the one, the only founder and interim CEO of Ko-Thi Dance Company, Ferne Caulker.
Yay.
That's right. She's on here, and I have questions for her, and I'm very excited.
At least three.
At least three. So, actually, with that being said, why don't we get to these questions?
Oh, no.
Well, actually, it's going to be four. First and foremost, how are you doing?
Okay, how am I doing? I'm actually on the physical side. I'm doing well. I'm vertical because with the storms and everything, people who suffer from vertigo and headaches and migraine are having a hard time and breathing. So I feel good about that.
All right.
On the physical side, I feel good that being almost 76, I'm still standing and healthy, and my brain is still working. I don't remember names a lot, but I do remember people's body types. So don't mess with me, because I'll know you from behind when I see you down the street.
Like, I remember you.
I remember you.
Ma'am,
Hey,
this is a family show. We don't do those kind of things here.
I can tell.
Last time
I can
somebody
tell
wanted
whether
to,
I like it or not from the back. I'm just saying.
last time somebody wanted to know me from behind, they had to buy me dinner first. I mean, it's
Well, it's really funny because as I taught dance at UWM for 45 years, right?
Yes.
And there's no way I remember all of it, but I never forget a body type and the face that goes with it and the characteristics of the body. I just might not remember the name. But I have nicknames for everybody, which nobody wants to ever know.
Okay. I might have to like grin and bear it. I might have to ask you. It's probably gonna be like a pear or onion or something like that.
I think everybody else is like her puppet collection. The weird one in the tubs.
Right.
Puffs
Like
them up.
dance you.
Yeah, let me.
Where's Bernie face?
let me
Where's Car
dance
Crash?
you.
Where's
You guys
I
are
love
sick.
that.
we're gonna call you Puddin' Pop from now on.
I'm more shapely than that.
Sure.
Yeah, and that's like a Biden
You
story.
said that. I did not say
I
call
know,
him that.
All I know is that round is a shape. All right?
You're in shape.
round
Round
is
is
a
a
shape,
shape.
yes.
Yes.
Round is a shape. I
That's right.
accept that. You are dead right.
Well
I
played,
think I
Darren.
appreciate
You're
it.
welcome.
All right, so let's get to these questions.
Yes.
So question one, what is something sort of ridiculous about you?
Ridiculous about me is that I was told as a child in Africa that my nickname was Yonkoto. Yonkoto, which in my father's language, Shebro, from the Shebro people in Sierra Leone means always messing around.
All right. I might need to change my name.
So I now know that I have been Yonkoto my whole life, and that fed into being an artistic director and a choreographer, because as a choreographer, dealing with all the different people and personalities and musicians and dancers, you got to have a lot of Yonkoto spirit.
Oh, for sure. I can definitely see that. Being able to organize the chaos and just enjoying yourself doing it.
Because that's what you're doing, is organizing chaos and making it come up and look really good when the curtain opens.
Yeah, all about that. All about that. So, with that being said, question two.
Uh-oh.
What is something sort of ridiculous to you?
Racism.
Yep.
Well, that's a conversation stopper. Thanks for tuning in, folks.
No. That's racism is completely absurd. It's
totally it's absurd because it's anti-human.
It's anti-human, and it's most definitely taught.
It is definitely, absolutely taught.
And the reason I know this is because I grew up in more or less the equivalent of a Rainbow Coalition family. So my mom is Filipino. My dad is black. My grandma is like Filipino, Chinese, a bit like that.
Wow.
And my maternal grandfather actually died in the Navy. So I grew up with my other grandfather who was white, right? So when I was about 6 or 7 years old, they had the talk with me where it was like, hey, there are going to be people out there that don't like you because of the color of your skin. I looked at them, I was like, that's silly. That's so silly.
That's absurd.
It is absurd. come like a few years later, I'm like, that ish was real.
Right.
This is so dumb.
Well, and the most absurd thing to me is that it has taken me 70 plus years to realize that the absurdity of people not liking me.
Gosh darn it, I'm lovable.
I should be taking notes.
We're gonna get you a T-shirt that says like "Love me, goddammit."
I want a transcript of this too, Darren.
Right.
It's like it's like no, for real. I mean, look, we don't know how long we're going to be on this planet, and like my thing is that this is actually, I was saying just the other day, what if this is actually it? What if this is the utopia? What if this is the Garden of Eden? What if this is heaven?
Wow.
We have really blank up.
You know what?
Do you know what I'm saying?
Oh, most definitely.
Because what if, just imagine, think about what this planet is, and to think of what we are doing to it and to each other in it. And just talk about absurd.
I agree.
So far be it from me to interrupt.
No, please do.
Why?
Why what?
Why are we this way? Why are we why
Human beings?
Yeah.
Because God made the mistake of giving us domain over the rest of the creatures of the planet. And gave the mistake of,
that was not the answer I was expecting.
He made a mistake. He made a mistake.
So is God fallible?
Because frankly, I think that cats and animals live better and think better with each other, other than the need to eat and have a place to raise their offspring. They really just don't prey on, pounce on each other. But human beings will do that.
Yes, they will.
So we were not necessarily the best caretakers to have taken care of this utopian planet.
So God made the wrong call when he picked the dominant species.
Absolutely.
He was like, I should have.
We have proven that we don't deserve it.
Well, certainly based on recent news reports, you've heard about like the orcas attacking.
Yes.
I think the primacy of man might actually be winding down.
Well,
which
because the ants are taking over, the beetles are coming up.
I thought the beetles broke up. Never mind.
Yeah,
I'm
right.
sorry.
And and we've got a lot. And I heard somebody say the other day, well, in the Bible it says end days, and I thought the person who said that to me was African American, and I have had to stop people when they say that to me, because the way I think about that is that I think about my ancestors who came over in the Middle Passage. They probably thought it was end days too, but something kept them not thinking that to sustain that. And I think about Native Americans, I think about Japanese and the internment camps, and we can go on and on and on and on and on, the history of human beings on this planet who at any given time would say end days.
Yeah.
Fires, hurricanes, earthquakes, plagues. How many of these have the planets had to sustain? And each time you could have said end days. But, maybe we need to stop saying that, and we need to start thinking about what happens if there is no end day, and we can stop the suffering. Change the way we think.
The earth abides.
Right.
Life finds a way.
Think about the way we think, because look how long it's been here. And I'm not saying that it's going to be here forever, But we have to change the way we think. And when you get up in the morning and you say, it's the end day, it's the last day, that changes what you do the rest of that day.
Oh, most definitely.
Right? Rather than thinking, like to young people today, I always want to say, what if you live to be my age? What do you want to be? What do you want to leave? What is your legacy? Our young people don't think like that. A lot of them don't think they're going to live past 20 or 30 because they're burying all of their friends that are that age.
Right, which is
so
horrible.
That changes how somebody gets up in the morning, and it changes, and I think we're going about it the wrong way, how we try to reach these young kids, because we're asking them the wrong questions. The question to ask is, do you see yourself being 70 years old? And most of them will tell you no. That's our problem.
Yeah, that's a huge problem.
Because I want to live to be 107. You see what I'm saying? So it changes the way I get up in the morning.
Right.
And what I put into my system. If I want to be 107, then I'm conscious of what I'm eating, and I'm conscious of what I'm allowing to come into my spirit every day, and I'm conscious about the people I want to be around that can usurp that potential to live to be 107. So I have removed myself from a lot of cliques and from a lot of organizations. I've totally removed myself. Say, well, where have you been? I'm at home chilling. And I'm getting ready I'm getting ready for the next battle tomorrow morning.
Right.
I'm preparing. I'm a warrior, and I'm preparing for the next battle. And it's hard because sometimes I can't stand up.
Well, I understand chilling and removing oneself from cliques and other negative energy and just folks that are like stagnant, or that doesn't help you with your goal or your journey.
I have I'm in the process of trying to write my book. I'm having problems with mental blocks with that. But anyway, one of the things I think of is that there are people who are fire starters in the village. That's the person who makes sure the fire and maintenance, they make sure the village fire is always hot and the coals are hot. And then there are people who are fire stealers. And they come from villages where they're too lazy to start their own fire and build their own coals. So they wait till everybody's asleep, and they come around with little shovels, and they go and get coals, and then they take the coal back, right?
Right.
And so you have to know what people are. Are they fire stealers or fire keepers and maintenance and starters?
All right. So in your thoughts, who, like modern day, are the fire starters and the fire stealers?
Oh, I'm not giving off that information.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. And I get that. I get that. We're not trying to get nobody. You're not trying to get no marks on anybody.
No, because that's my secret. That's my FCB CIA account.
Ooh,
FCB, that sounds pretty dangerous.
That's Ferne Caulker Bronson CIA account. I have my own little red book, and I have people in there that I have listed that I know who they are when I see them, and we're good and fine. But I know right away, fire stealers.
Okay, I got you on that. So a little bit, you were mentioning the whole humans shouldn't be the one to have dominion over like all of the other animals. And I think of like Mother Earth and the humans being like, "Hey, Ma, let me get this from you. Hey, let me just have some ores, some trees, all this other stuff. Well, what are you gonna do for it? I'm just gonna use. Let me. I'll give it back. And then mom's all like run down and ragged right now. It's like, you know what? No, I'm gonna do this for me. Earthquakes, hurricanes.
Right.
Yeah, go clean your room.
But guess who? Guess who understands all of this? That we're going to have to, when the sunlight, like we see right now, we haven't seen the sun in a while.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
But there are indigenous people on this planet that will survive the rest of us who live in the cities.
Yeah.
Because they understand who's the boss.
Right.
They understand who the boss is. And so they respect, we say Mother Nature, but they respect that. And so they work with it. And they may right now be looking like folk that don't know what they're doing, and they're kind of walking around kind of crazy looking, but they're not. Because when the shit hits the fan, watch who's going to survive it.
All right. hopefully I'll be around to see that. I'm gonna befriend these folks and be like, hey, what's good? How can I live like you guys?
My wife always makes that point. My wife has done a lot of master gardening classes, and she has a lot of skills with tools and building things.
Yes.
And she's done a lot of urban agriculture and all that stuff. And her whole thing is because I don't like Milwaukee. I've been advocating that we move for a while. And she's like, no, we can't leave because we're near a large body of fresh water.
And bloom,
yes,
and
exactly.
Very fresh water
Yep.
and bloom where you are. This is something else that I keep trying to tell
Bloom where you are.
people. Bloom where you are.
If you can't be with the one you love the one you're with.
So that means
I believe that was Ernie
Another
Isley,
way.
the great Ernie Isley, who said
Another
that.
way of saying that.
right.
But I'm just saying that, bloom, yoga practices, bloom where you are, and we're near a body of fresh water, which we need to protect. And Milwaukee, what I find interesting about Milwaukee and looking at some of the magazines, that the more humane magazines that are out there, people are beginning to really get into their gardening and really getting into canning their vegetables and canning their fruit, and it's like a very healthy movement. So we'll see who's going to actually survive this, because there are young people today who are raising children. And I know by going to the grocery store and seeing I like to examine what's in people's grocery store carts.
Ooh, that sounds festive.
Because that tells me a lot about that family and their health, right?
No,
And-
that's a fair
and
assessment.
A lot of people don't cook anything fresh. So when the microwave can't work, how are you going to cook them grits? When the stove don't come on, how you going to cook? What you going to do? With 3 stones, you can go outside and find 3 stones in a pot, right? And what you going to feed your kids?
I guess rocks. Okay, no.
No, I think it's like stone soup.
right.
My mom always talks about the old story stone soup, but the guy's like,
soup.
you bring me this rock, and I can make soup out of it.
I can make a soup out
and
of
it turns out the community is like, oh, wait a minute, you know what? You go even better with the rock. I got an onion I've been saving.
Exactly.
And so on and so
It
forth.
builds.
They end up having this wonderful stew. And
Wait, this is a thing?
This was a children's
This is
book that I saw a lot as a kid about.
book, yeah, and
community,
it's like
really. Turns out when you all worked
Right.
together, they had a much better.
They
than,
had exactly what, and the stone.
everybody was starving to death
right.
before this guy
and
came
the
to
stone
town.
was good in the soup because it gave the soup the minerals that the soup needed. Whoa, that's deep, isn't it?
Yeah, that is deep. I was like, where was this? I didn't see any of this in Dr.
that part.
Seuss.
But definitely community. I've said often, like in the case of the actual zombie apocalypse happened, I'm staying right where I am. You've got a lot of natural barriers, access to
Absolutely.
fresh water,
Freshwater
a
fish.
community that works together. We've got more gardens than gun nuts. around here.
Absolutely.
And I think
Absolutely.
that's a good sign.
Yeah, and we just have to think. It's hard, and it's very hard when you come from a community. Milwaukee has a history. I remember the mayor that used to sing "Come to Milwaukee, 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 Milwaukee." And that
Wait,
old
hang on, that was a
summer
thing?
Oh, Henry Meyer, the guy who was before John Norquist, was
It was
mayor
a
for like
huge thing.
100 years.
The Summerfest guy?
He sang it.
The guy
Right.
checked that off. But he was known as every public occasion where he could get away with it, he would sing
He would
something.
sing it all the
Christmas tree
time.
lighting. He always sang
Every-
O Tannenbaum.
Right.
Yeah.
He would just, and I, that was when I was very young and remembering that. And I think to myself, we had look, Milwaukee is known for being a very segregated city. And you don't throw out words like segregated city and think there aren't repercussions to that. There are repercussions on all sides. White people suffer from segregation. Minorities suffer from segregation. The whole community suffers from segregation. Nobody benefits from it, okay, except the 1%.
Right.
And that 1% is determined to protect their real estate. And I totally get that. But the problem is that the world functions on balance. That's what God gave us, was a balanced planet. And because we have let 1% determine how that planet functions, we have gross imbalance on all levels.
All right. All right.
And it's not going to change because I don't want to, it's not going to change. I don't want to take money out of somebody's pocket except the 1%. Because when you decide that you have enough money to take 4 other people and go deep sea diving in a vehicle that you know and you have been told is not safe, but you feel safe, why? Because you have money.
Nothing bad has ever happened to you that you couldn't
Get
buy
out,
your way out of.
buy your way out. And they got down there and
Except
found
for
out
physics.
Well,
physics, right. But they couldn't buy themselves out of that one.
So this was a
You see?
F around and find out type of. It's most unfortunate, but
It's very
yeah.
unfortunate. It's totally a waste of life and a waste of brain matter that those scientists could not have learned, and that most important lesson. You see? So I'm just saying, whatever millions of dollars it took to do that,
yeah.
we could have fed how many children on the planet? That's what I'm talking about, the imbalance of the 1% versus the rest of 99%.
All right.
I think we're understanding more and more because a lot of people that talk about the problems and keep getting to the root. And I think we have a good idea who these people are now too.
Yeah,
a lot of them are real media hogs. They love to be in front of cameras.
We know exactly who they are.
Right.
Well, some of them. The other ones.
Some
that
of
are
them.
hidden.
There's
right.
But
Wait, who are the ones we don't know?
The ones that are chilling.
The ones
They're
that are
children.
killing.
The
Well,
ones
they're
that- the ones
quiet.
don't- yeah.
They're the ones that write the checks that let the mouthpiece speak.
That's like the 1%
Everybody
of the
goes,
1%.
This is. I don't think this is going to get into crazy conspiracies. Right? The crazy conspiracy is like, no, it's hamster owners. I don't think
Yeah, because somebody's writing the checks.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah, most
And we
certainly.
don't know who they all are. They're hidden.
So who are writing the ones that are bouncing all the time? Why are we in like a trillion?
rest of us.
We do
The
not.
rest of
we
us
do
are
not-
That's what the rest of us have to play with. So these
Look,
things happen.
I don't know nothing about nobody's politics. So I ain't gonna answer that one.
All right. So with that being said, yeah, let's get into some more uplifting, jubilant.
How about
type
that?
Stuff. Yes. So
we got about a
yes,
couple
we have
minutes
about
left.
7 minutes. Don't worry. There's
Yeah,
going to be some
we got about
extra
two-
material.
2 minutes.
soon.
We can talk about
All
something
right.
positive.
We have about 6 7
We got
minutes.
8 minutes.
All
We
right.
can turn the show around in
Okay.
8 minutes. Yeah, yeah.
So with that being said, you are the CEO and artistic director at Ko-Thi, the Ko-Thi Dance Company.
Let me clarify. I'm not the artistic director.
sorry.
I now have a new generation that is
new
running the
generation.
company.
Oh,
Sonia Thompson
That's
and
right. Oh,
Umasi
founder.
Allen.
Yeah,
I'm the founder
that's right, founder
that
and-
supports the new generation of leadership.
That's right. That's right. So, with that being said, what is going on with Ko-Thi? You guys been around for 54 years?
Yeah,
That's
next year's
nuts.
the 55th. Now that is absurd.
Yeah, yeah.
On one level, it's absurd. Maybe because we weren't intended to survive this long. What is a little African Caribbean dance company doing in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, a German Polish city, number one? Because when I started, this was a very German Polish profile. Okay? And now it's much more diverse. But it wasn't when we first started. When Ko-Thi used to tour up north, and we always had great tours.
Yes.
But going up north, I could write a book on just some of the experiences we had, like all of us black folks, artists with the African drums and the dreadies and the hair and the fabric and everything. We get off a bus and we go to a motel and way up north somewhere, and it has a swimming pool, and we go to get in the swimming pool, and everybody white gets out.
Oh, nice. So that means you guys had to pull to yourself. I'm not kidding. That's
Yeah.
the positive spin.
Yeah,
No, that's
but you know what I'm saying. These are
Definitely.
we've gone from that experience, to now just this week teaching a class of Upward Bound where there were 50 students in there that were basically Caucasian, and they had their first experience of African dance and drumming. And it was awesome to see in the joy and transformation in their faces, and experiencing something and being in a room with African-American artists that really love themselves and are on this self-love and legacy, aesthetic love,
Yeah.
to see that happen, to be in a room with that where we're not talking about gun violence and death and all of these things.
Right.
That was wonderful. And I can look back now that's the advantage of something being 54, almost 55 years, is that I have decades
Right,
to look
right,
back at the
right.
changes that have happened or have not happened.
You have like generations and generations of like contrast. So, what would you say from some of the other things that have changed, or huge changes that's happened like over the decades within
Well,
Ko-Thi?
I think the biggest thing has been electronics. The phones and the computers. It has on one level shrunk the world because people can get to reach each other better. On the other level is that I feel, again, I go back to what I said earlier about I think that God made a mistake putting human beings in charge, because the problem is that we begin to get very tribal in our thinking before we have really developed the mind. So children already being taught to be tribal in terms of their associations,
Right.
rather than actually thinking more, expansive. And what has happened is that we have this technology that gives young people great access, but the problem is they can't discern the access. So it's almost too much information.
Yep, I get that.
Almost too much, and young people don't even like communicate. I see young students, we have sexual assaults around the east side and UWM, right? But you see young women walking around and they're just walking on a sidewalk and they're doing their phone. There's no protective vision,
No spatial awareness.
no spatial awareness of their
Right.
environment, so they're easy prey, right? Because nobody's paying attention and young people are not talking to each other anymore. The art of conversation
Right.
and
right.
writing thank you notes to people doesn't exist anymore.
All right. So with that being said, how do you feel that that Ko-Thi is helping with that, or addressing that?
Well, part of my whole process as a founder and a teacher is the fact that we have very high expectations. So
Yes.
that the members of our company, our mission is to train them to help train the next generation coming. So we have a very strict kind of expectation, and it's very hard. Some people can't handle it,
Okay.
in terms of just, your toolbox. That's my big thing. What's in your toolbox?
Right.
And if you want to expand your toolbox, how much are you willing to sacrifice time to get off of that damn phone and using those thumbs, right? And get into reading a book. And we better get to reading books because they're banning them as fast as they can.
Yeah, I saw some things that I read. I was like, why would this even remotely be? They're like being really like hair trigger. Oh, can't read that. Oh, can't read that. I mean, some of the things are so silly. I'm waiting until they like ban some Dr. Seuss books, which they probably
Well, they
never
have
will.
already.
They have?
They have already.
What?
You're behind the bar, baby.
I
cakes.
am very much so.
Yeah. So my thing is that history is
Uh-huh.
important. That's why you have to read books, because
Right.
what's the first thing that controlling regimes do? Is they ban intellectuals, they make sure the colleges and high institutions of higher learning can't function, and they ban books. That's the first thing. I don't have to make this up. It's history. So beware, everybody.
You hear that? Beware, folks. So with that being said, this has been another episode of Sorta Ridiculous.
.com.
Smash the button.
Pow.
But no, again, we were
We
really
didn't say much tonight. We were here to listen. I think I'm glad to just be at the table while you're showering us with truth tonight. So
Yes,
it's a real pleasure for me
Oh,
personally.
it's been a pleasure. You guys have been fun.
Yeah, so
A lot of
again,
fun.
thank you for joining us, Ferne, and we
welcome.
look forward to hearing more from Ko-Thi and what you're doing.
Congratulations on 54, 55 years.